Hey there, Camille Macres, principal of the School of Inner Beauty. I'm wondering, are you somebody who is really analytical, really in your head, where you're constantly thinking about things and analyzing things and just trying to figure things out? Well, that was me. Well, it still sort of is me, but I lived almost entirely in my head for a lot of years. That came from not feeling like it was safe to really be in my body or to really trust my heart, and that the only place that wouldn't lead me astray was my brain. Man, how wrong was I? Over the last several months, I have begun to integrate my head and my heart. And more than that, I have begun to bring my mind into submission underneath my heart. Now, especially for those of you who are really smart and have always gotten by being smart, this is a message especially for you, because it can be really, really difficult when you've come to just rely on your mental faculties for all of the answers. It can be really hard to make that shift, because your mind is something you can trust and your heart is something that you cannot. But I promise you, if you really want to have a life that is full of love, where you're able to experience your inner beauty, where you're able to be really connected to people, your mind is going to need to begin to come into submission underneath your heart. You know, that's why things like meditation are so important, is because through doing breathing, through meditation, and through, doing things like yoga, it begins to help to silence your mind, or maybe not silence it completely, but at least tone it down. And and then doing practices where you actively open up your heart and listen and trust your intuition, then that mind, that brain that you've always been so identified with, can serve in its rightful place. It's obviously, our brains and our minds are very, very important, but it's like, you don't want to let the tail wag the dog. That's what happens with most people's brains. It is important for your brain to come into submission underneath your heart if you're really going to be happy. And that does take an element of faith and trust in yourself. But I promise you that as you begin to do that, as you begin to take on the practices of really listening to your heart, whether that be, again, through journaling, through, opening up conversations in community, through meditation, through breathing, through yoga, there's lots of different ways that you can do it, then you can begin to experience a lot more freedom to be followed and guided by your heart instead of your noggin all the time. Anyway, I hope that this was a useful little tidbit for you today. I'll see you next time. Bye.